Welcome back to Suburban Black Girl episode 12. What are we talking about today?
Today I feel like we should talk about sisterhood, which means, our friendships, just uplifting one another, empowering one another, and just it's all about sisterhood. The highs,
Period.
the lows, the in-betweens.
Period. Friends that become family.
Yes, yes.
That part.
I feel like that's important. You know what I mean? Like some of us were blessed with sisters, some of us we don't have sisters.
No.
So, our
Literally.
friends are our sisters.
Yeah. Only children gang over here.
Gang, gang.
Yes. But I think we both have friends that feel like sisters.
For sure. So,
Question 1. Bring it on.
let's see what I got. What does sisterhood mean to you, and how has it shown up in your life? So for me, I would say sisterhood means to me I don't have siblings like we just discussed, sisters in particular for sure. So, sisterhood to me is friends that I consider my family. Friends that mean more to me than just being an associate. Like if you're like a part of my sisterhood, it's like we know each other's families. You've been around my family. Personal things about me, very personal. I can depend on you, I can count on you, and vice versa. But I think it's very important to have, especially the older we get, because life does get harder, and it's good to depend on your tribe for those times. So I feel like for me, that's what it means. But I think I just cling to the fact, like, I see my friends as sisters. So
yeah, I completely agree with that. I think for me, I take family very seriously, and my family is very important to me, and I'm very family oriented. And so whoever it is, a friend, a person I'm dating, it's like I'm not bringing you around my family unless I feel like I can trust you and, all of that. And so if you are my friend and I bring you around my family, that means you are like family, which means I can trust you to a certain extent. You're reliable to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Like to a certain level where you probably know me as well, just as well as my family does. So for me, a lot of my friends that I've known for a long time are like family, because for me, and I feel like we've talked about this before, but I think when you're very easily misunderstood, it's made me value the people that get me even more so. And those are the people that become like family to me, because that's why being around my family feels safe to me, because it's they know me, And so the people that truly know me, love me, care about me, and I can trust are my sisters that feel like family.
I love that. I love that a lot.
Yes.
So, to piggyback off of that, how would you say that you actively nurture your relationships, particularly with other Black women?
I think the biggest thing in adulthood and all of us living our hectic, busy lives is just making the time to check in. That's something I'm very cognizant about, is if I haven't talked to so and so this week or in a couple weeks, whatever it is, just sending a text, and then if I when I have the time, definitely making the phone call, but literally just checking in and making sure they're good is something I'm very cognizant about in my close friendships.
Yeah, no, checking is always good, because sometimes it's you can feel when your friend's going through something. It's like, hey, girl, just checking on you, and it's like, girl, I'm about to call you, and it's like, yeah, there's something about that, so that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think for me, it means just supporting one another, showing up for one another. Um, I know for me personally, I take my milestones very personal. So just like I want someone to show up for my big milestones, I do the same for my friends, because I know that, let's be honest, friends show their true colors when they don't show up for those big moments in your life. So for instance, me and Blake are flying in for our friend's baby shower next month, things like that. Like if you care about someone and you care about that friendship, you show up for them. So for me, that's what it really means, is just showing up. Because when I feel like you don't, it's very telling.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And it's like all of my friends, I feel like joke, but especially when I was in LA. But since I've been in Texas and when I was in LA, it's like a known joke in our group. It's like one thing I'm gonna do, one thing Blake is gonna do is hop on a plane for somebody's birthday, you know?
You really do.
Yeah, literally. So I agree with that. And I think that's really valuable is like you're gonna make the time to be
Yeah.
there for your friends' birthdays, celebrations, milestones. I think that's important. And I also think that separates like a friend from a sister too, right? Because
Yes.
one thing your family is going to do is be there for your milestones, for your
Right.
graduation, birthday, whatever. And
Yeah.
so the friends that prioritize you to that level are the ones that are family.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
actually, yeah, a great point.
Mhm.
Right. Because no one's flying out for just anybody.
Right. Or it's like, especially like in our friend group, it's like a lot of us have summer birthdays, but like it's like we're thinking it's January right now and it's like what are you thinking for your birthday? What are you thinking for your birthday? Like we talk about it months in advance and it's funny cuz like obviously like we have our own friend group, but then people within the friend group have their own like separate friends or whatever. So it's just funny how like other friend groups will be like that's so nice that you guys like will go on a trip for somebody's birthday and for us it's like so normal but like to other people like the trip has to be about everybody or whatever like for us it's like we will plan a trip and it's because it's somebody's birthday but the trip isn't just about that person's
Yeah.
birthday it's
True.
also just about like us spending time together as a friend group
Right.
like even my 30th it's like I was like, guys, we're not celebrating until Friday, and the trip started on Monday. Like, the trip was a week long, but I'm like, I don't need the whole trip to be about me. Everybody flew 8, 10, 12 hours, so appreciate that for my birthday and appreciate everyone being there, but
Yeah.
also, like, let's all celebrate life and the fact that we're together at the
Yeah.
same time.
No, I love that. Because some people can kind of just turn into just like not a, like the bridezilla version of a birthday girl.
Yes.
Where it's like, it's my birthday, it's my
Yeah.
birthday. And it's like, girl, we know it's your birthday. Like,
Yes.
so I love
Yes.
people where they're like, the main character energy sometime in the birthdays is like, it's a lot.
No.
It's a lot. Like, okay, girl, it's your birthday.
But also, if you're naturally the main character, you don't need to
Right.
scream about it. You just naturally have that energy and that aura. But like when you have to like force to make your presence known and remind everyone, it's just like, yeah, I've never been that type of. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. We need
No.
to do what I want. Like honestly, I don't. I feel like sometimes I don't like my birthday for that reason. Is because like I'm always worried about if everyone else is having fun.
Yeah.
So uh, I don't know, but I don't like that.
No, for sure. No, I feel the same way. It's hard. It's like, it's for you, but you want to make sure everyone else is having a great time.
Mhm.
Like, and it's so hard to make sure it's like, are you good? Are you
Yeah.
having fun?
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Shows you have a good heart.
Period. Something else I'll say too is just about obviously you have to respect people's boundaries, but it's just like when you notice something's off with a friend, like not prying, but just really making sure they're okay. Like I had a friend a couple weeks ago. I was like, she was talking and I literally was just like, "Are you depressed?" And like not in a bad way, but just
Right.
like trying to open the floor because like I could tell something was off.
Mm.
And so last week she was like, you know what? She was like, she was like, I'm fine now, but I realized I was depressed,
Wow.
you know? And I think a lot of times with depression also and just how Black women handle emotions like that in general, it's not easy to tell
Yeah.
because we are always like putting on a brave face and we kind of live by this we have to be twice as good all the time motto. And so we don't necessarily wear it or even allow ourselves to feel it. Um, and I think there's probably a lot of Black women out there that have like high functioning depression,
Yeah.
because it doesn't always look like laying in bed and being unproductive. A lot of times you're very productive and your just natural state is like sadness or unhappiness, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not always like easy to detect. So I think honestly, like, what is that saying? Like, to be loved is to be seen.
Right.
You know, it's like when you know your friends and you're checking on them, you know something is off, even if they're denying it or even if they're not like outwardly saying it. So,
No, for sure.
yeah.
No, that's actually a really great point because I do think as Black women, we mask what we're truly going through so well. And it's like,
Hmm.
sadly, we have to. Like, we can't show up at work crying, miserable. Like, they're going to be like, girl, go home.
Right.
You know, and it's like, no, I'm good. But no, that's actually very true. We do a really good job of masking things
Hmm.
because it's like the world isn't the nicest to us. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
we don't get a pat on the back. It's just like you have to just keep pushing through.
Yeah.
Um, just like I was telling you before, like I just had a friend like break down on the phone with me and cry, but
Hmm.
like she was fine after that. You know what I mean? We just go through those things that a lot of people just don't really know
Yeah.
from the outside looking in, unless you're just that's your sister, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I've definitely have had friends that have dealt with that and like been there on the flip side where it's like nobody knew that like I was feeling depressed because and just trying to overachieve. And so now it's something I'm even more cognizant of because I'm like constantly busy and it's like I haven't checked on so and so. I need to do that,
Yeah.
you know, and I just will send the text while I'm thinking about it and then call them when I have a moment. But yeah.
No, absolutely. Okay. So my question for you is how do we create more spaces for Black women to feel supported and celebrated?
I think that goes back to like the to be loved is to be seen. And I think that's a huge part of our motivation in starting this podcast and showing up every week is like the feedback that we get is, oh my God, finally someone can relate, or oh my God, I found my people, you know? And it warms our heart to the people
Yeah.
watching. Like we literally will save your comments when we get that sort of feedback because, you know, life gets busy. It can be hard to make time for this every week, but we're determined to be consistent with it because it's helping people. You know, it helps
Yeah.
people feel seen, feel heard, know that they're not alone in certain experiences. And so that's our goal with this is to create that um, safe space for Black women, especially.
No, I agree. And more than anything, just like a positive image and something to see where you just feel easy and lighter when you listen to it versus feeling like it's so catty, it's so much drama, it's negative.
Hmm.
I think, what we try to, the topics we talk about and the things we discuss and how we say things is truly who we are in real life.
Hmm.
So I think I think for me, it feels good that people do want to hear what we have to say without us having to feel like we need to say certain things to go viral or for clout and things of that nature. It's like
Hmm.
we're truly just trying to be ourselves. And I'm just so glad that, it's resonating with so many people and that everyone's really enjoying it that's watching it this far. But yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because there's a voice and there's a person that, can hear what we have to say.
Yeah.
And we'd love to see more of that, more positivity in the media.
Yeah. And the media, this week, since the inauguration, it's just been, did you hear what said, what was passed? Did you hear what, and it's just like, no, I
It's
haven't because
exhausting.
I do not want to consume so much negativity every single day. And
Yeah.
every single day you wake up and something else was passed discriminating against a group and so on and so forth. And so I don't want to remain ignorant to what's going on in the media, but at the
Right.
same time, waking up and consuming so much negativity every day is just not healthy. And
Yeah.
so, I like that we can talk about things like that are more positive. Um, but at the same time, like not take ourselves too seriously because even this, I don't want it to be too serious
Right.
because life is hard enough and there's so much seriousness in the media. Like, we want people to be able to relate, but also to laugh in it, to
Yeah.
feel lighthearted too at the same time, because sometimes you just need an escape.
No, for sure. We definitely laugh a lot.
Wait till we start drinking again in February.
Gosh. A week and a half more.
No,
I am
today's the
counting down.
23rd.
It feels like I feel like
Another week in a day.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Oh gosh, I forgot what day it is today. Woo! Loki was given a Monday.
Yeah.
We've been snowed in out here, so my whole week is
I know,
off.
right? And it was a holiday on Monday too.
Yeah. So this whole
Yeah.
week was just
Yeah,
thank
this week was weird.
God. Ugh. I need to stop being like that, but yes, can't wait. um, my next question for you is, why do you think competition can sometimes exist amongst Black women, and how can we shift that narrative?
I just heard all my life I had to fight from the color purple in my head only because, like, I think because in so many rooms and so many situations, we are the minority.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like there's only one spot for us and we're all fighting for it, you know? And so I think
Mm.
in that sense, it kind of maybe becomes a competition. Um, it's interesting because, like, with the election, for example, people were so confused. Like, why did so many Latinos vote for Trump?
Right.
And it was interesting because what some people were saying was that, or why are so many like Latinos and Hispanics against illegal immigration? And it's because a lot of them feel like, and a lot of immigrants feel like this period, like a lot of immigrants feel strongly about illegal immigration because they feel like they did it the right way. So why should other Hispanics or other whoever it is get to, like, skip the line or get to
Mm-hmm.
basically cheat their way into this country? And so it's because it's like, when you look at us, it's like, why is black on black crime so high? Why are other immigrants so against immigration,
Yeah.
And it's like, it's kind of similar. Like, it reminded me of that, where it's like, because with immigration, it's hard
Right.
to immigrate into the United States and become a citizen and all that. So I feel like it's the same thing where it's like, there's a limited amount of spaces that everybody's fighting for. And like, that's kind of where I think the competition with us, at least, stems from.
No, that's actually valid because that just made me think of the fact like even when you think of anything, they're always comparing us to another Black woman or they
Mhm.
always compare another Black man to another Black man. It's like y'all don't do that with any other race.
Mhm.
So it's funny you say that. Yes, they make us fight for the same spot and it's like they turn us against each other on purpose to say which one's the better fill in the blank.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That goes back to the beginning of time.
Mhm.
Um but yeah, it's super ugly.
Yeah. It's
But it's
almost
definitely a real
like
thing.
yeah, because it's like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes people are like the token black girl in a situation. And if another
Mhm.
black girl comes, it's like, she's going to take my crown as the token black. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like, whether it's conscious or subconscious, it's a, feels like a competition. And yeah, to your point, maybe it is people of other races pitting us against each other, making us feel like there can only be
Mhm.
one.
Right.
I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
deep. I think especially like, when there's an attractive Black woman and you're attractive yourself, it's like automatic like
Yeah.
it's like, girl,
Yeah.
we both can be cute. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I do hate that because it's like I love when a pretty girl can tell another girl, "Oh my god, you're so pretty! Oh my god, you're so pretty too,"
Mm-hmm.
and not just kind of give you like a up and down look stare. It's like,
I
okay,
hate that.
girl. Yeah, super ugly.
Yeah.
I like working in around like the nightlife scene so long here. The conversation's always like, it's all these successful Black owned businesses, but everyone's so separate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like people talk about imagine if these certain big business owners in the city came together, what they could really create.
Mm.
Because, the white people do it, but it's like,
Mm-hmm.
why can't we do it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't know what that's about. It's like, sometimes I think in our culture, it's like, we want to be the only person that's on top. And it's like, screw everybody else. But it's like, why?
Yeah.
All these other races, they join together to create these billion-dollar empires while we're just sitting on a $1 million one entity,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I feel like it's an ego thing or like a survival
Mm-hmm.
thing. Like, I worked for this and I don't want anyone
Yes.
else to take credit or steal my shine. Like I deserve the recognition on my own, maybe
Yes.
type thing. I don't know.
Yes. No, I think that's what it is. Back to what you were saying before, it's like I worked for this and you should too.
Hmm.
But in my opinion, I feel like I would want to help the young Black girl that's coming up behind me and teach her things and help her so she doesn't have to maybe go through as much as I went through. But
Hmm.
I don't know, not everyone feels and thinks that way.
Yeah. No, they don't. They don't. And I feel like we have this conversation all the time too at work about how all skin folk ain't kinfolk. I was just having this conversation with someone the other day, how they've had multiple Black mentors,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them was kind of like a bootlicker or whatever. It's just like the conversation was more so about like being yourself at work. Because if you are able to be yourself and elevate, then you can bring other people up with you. But
Yeah.
if you're not yourself and you're pandering to white people, then when there is another Black person beneath you and they're coming to you with an issue, your hands are tied. You can't advocate for them, or you barely can advocate for yourself because you spent your entire time pandering to those people. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we were like just having that conversation
Mm.
the other day, and like it might take you longer to make it by being yourself, but at least you got there by being yourself. But
Right.
unfortunately, a lot of these roles, especially in corporate America, you don't get there except by brown nosing and appealing to white people.
Yeah.
But also, like I was saying, I'm glad I work in the industry that I work in, and that I'm like
Yes.
in marketing and like beauty and stuff, because it doesn't feel like as corporate. And so like,
Correct.
oop. And so a lot of that like brown nosing isn't like, I'm able to be myself a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I was like joking, but not joking. I was also saying like, in marketing, in e-commerce, whatever it is, like social media stuff, a lot of the trends and the trending sounds are started by Black people.
Yep.
So it's like I can actually go to work and speak how I normally speak because they're saying it. You know, like I was just talking to someone, they're like, oh, it's not giving or whatever. And it's just like because they're hearing it on the internet, you know? So
Yes.
I feel
You're
like
so right. You're
working
right.
in this industry, it's a little bit easier because it's like what I'm saying is not so foreign,
Yeah.
because what we say is what ends up trending online.
That is so true. My coworkers know a lot more now. I'm like, oh, you know that? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't need to explain myself. Love that.
Yeah.
That is so true.
They were like, I don't know what it was. It was like, it's giving something. And I just like laughed to myself. Because I remember like 2020 even. I think it's more so been TikTok, not social media.
Yes.
TikTok
Yep.
specifically, because, and I think I've said this before, but like, I remember saying to a coworker, she was showing me pictures from her wedding, and I was like, oh my God, your mom's face is beat. And she was like, yeah, she was really tired. And I'm like, no, that's not what I meant. I'm like, no, I was not saying your mom looked bad. And then like,
Oh, that's so
whatever, I
awkward.
explained that to her, and then she leaves the room. That lady happened to be Asian, but then my like white female boss was like, wait, what did you say? What does that mean? I'm like, oh my God.
Oh
But I
gosh,
feel like I feel like
situations.
the likelihood of that happening today is so much less
Yeah.
because of TikTok, literally.
Yeah.
Like the way Ho is you and all this other
And
stuff
all of this, yeah.
is being used.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, y'all teaching me new things. I didn't
No,
even know
for
about
real.
that one.
For real.
When did that come out?
Sure.
Oh my gosh. How do you address the pressure to compare yourself to other Black women, especially on social media?
Ooh.
That's a good one. I'm not gonna lie, that's a good one.
Honestly, you know what? Like my For You page obviously knows I'm Black. The algorithm has figured that out. But I try actually not to follow too many. I mean, everybody I follow is Black, but like as far as like large creators or anything like that, I actually don't follow that many
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to like consciously or subconsciously like
Yeah.
compare myself. Um, so I actually don't follow. I will say I don't follow a lot of people, and honestly, I feel like most social media, whatever coaches would probably tell you to do the opposite. Like you should follow people in your niche or
Right.
whatever it is. I actually don't because I don't want to compare myself or whatever it is. So I'll follow other Black women that like are inspirational to me,
Yeah.
but maybe are not doing the exact same thing I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So I think that's kind of how I avoid that in a sense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like see what people are doing and I'm just like, okay, girl, like I love that for you.
Hmm.
I think for if anything, like I see it just as like motivation, things of that nature. But I think when I was younger, I used to be like, man, like I wish I had that or
Hmm.
all that. But now that we're older, we see things for what they truly are. And now I'm just kind of like, I don't want anyone's situation that I don't know personally because I don't really know what they did or what they're going through to get what
Hmm.
they have. So I think I kind of, I look at everything from a bird's eye view now.
Yeah, especially on social media
Yeah.
because people are mostly only sharing their wins and
Right.
not their losses. So, to your point, you don't know how anybody got there or what they had to go
Yeah.
through to get there. So, yeah,
Hmm.
it's just like oh, good for that person, and I keep scrolling, you
Yeah.
know.
No, for sure. But it's funny you say that, like, you don't really follow people that kind of like do the same thing as you. And I definitely am right there with you. I think before I used to follow like the girls that are around our age that are doing the same things we're doing. But now, like, I try to follow the older women
Hmm.
because it's like they're a manifestation of what I want to be like when I'm 35
Hmm.
plus, 40 plus, whatever it may be. So it's like I look for them because it's like I love the wisdom they spill, the
Hmm.
things they talk about, the things they post, because it's like it's more of like where I see myself in the future
Hmm.
versus like what a lot of the girls we may compare ourselves to are doing now. It's like
Hmm.
we're all out here kind of doing similar things. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And also, again, like we've been talking about, just limiting my scrolling time, period,
Yes. Yeah.
honestly. And curating your feed to like what's going to inspire you and not make you like feel inadequate in general,
Yeah.
too. Um, but also, I think that's why like Instagram has just become so played out, too, because it's
Ugh.
just like,
Aesthetic, aesthetic, aesthetic.
yes, aesthetic, aesthetic, aesthetic,
I'm
and
over it.
just showing off and fakeness
Yes.
and whatever, I think, yeah. Um, deprioritizing Instagram, I think has also helped too.
At this rate,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mm-mm.
It's like not beneficial anymore. It doesn't help me or anything. Every time I get on, I'm just like,
I open it out of like boredom or honestly like habit, and then I'm like, wait, wrong app, and I literally go back to TikTok.
so glad she's back. Woo! That was a
Seriously,
close one, girl.
even though they're saying the algorithm ain't the same and
I know, I've been hearing
all that,
that.
I mean, I hope Instagram didn't buy it, but the things I've been seeing, I don't
I
know.
know, it's making me nervous. I'm not gonna lie, my TikTok shop's not coming through like it used to. I used to get so many ads because I am a TikTok spender,
Yeah,
TikTok shop spender. And they did say like notice there's not a lot of TikTok shop ads, and
there
that's
isn't.
true. There's not,
Yeah.
which sucks because so many people are making so much money off of that.
I genuinely feel bad for like the small businesses because the
Yes.
big businesses, whatever, like the big beauty brands, whoever it is, the people that were whatever already on Amazon and in like large big box retailers are going to be fine.
Right.
But the small businesses that genuinely like went viral and really found new customers on TikTok and things like that, or even like business coaches that found clients, like I that's who I feel bad for.
Right.
And having literally their income and their livelihood just in limbo while these politicians play around, you know.
Seriously. No, it's definitely sad
Yeah.
because there's a lot that I've supported and I've seen grow, and it's
Hmm.
just been so beautiful.
Yeah,
TikTok changed a lot of lives for sure.
definitely. I was just watching before I came here some man, he like has a whole like tool shed in his garage or whatever, and I forget what it was, and he's like,
Hmm.
it's Friday night tool time. And like he was literally basically talking to himself. He was getting no
Aw.
views, whatever. And then all of a sudden somebody was like, I came across this man's page and he like really is like dedicated to his content, but he's getting no views. I go to his page. He has almost 1 million followers already.
I love those
I
ones.
was like, another one maybe a couple months ago. This guy was a retired math teacher
Mm-hmm.
and he was making YouTube videos to teach kids how to do math. And he
Aw.
didn't even have a tripod. He was like putting his phone up on a cardboard box, doing equations
Aw.
on a whiteboard at home. This girl was like, my dad's a retired teacher, explains it, same thing,
Yeah.
boom.
Blows up.
Yes. I was like, that's when social media is great. You know,
Yes.
that's where there's no toxicity. It's blowing up people who genuinely deserve it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I love like certain creators or influencers we know where they're like, we made the right person famous. And
Yes.
I love that comment because it's so true. Like
Hmm.
sometimes we do get it right.
Yeah.
But
Agreed.
yeah, I love the heartfelt stories like that.
Yeah.
How do you personally celebrate other Black women's successes while staying confident in your own journey?
Oh. Hmm. I would say two things. Like when it comes to my friends, um, again, I'm always like willing to celebrate my friends' wins.
Yeah.
Like every time my friends get a new, I've sent you flowers. I've
Yeah.
sent all my friends flowers like when they've gotten promoted. So I definitely celebrate my friends when they have wins. But it's funny, even creating content online, it's like people that you have never met in real life are the people that like support you the
Yes.
most. So it's like, people that I have never met, I always make sure I like, comment, engage,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, because that when you're a creator, that's what like support looks like. And so
Right.
it's celebrating those people's wins or even just celebrating them posting a video on a random Tuesday, you know? Um, and even if it is, because there are people I follow like other Black creators,
Mm-hmm.
that I'll like, comment, congratulate, and I hope to be as big as them one day. They're in a different like niche than I am, but like, it's just I think remembering that everyone is on their own journey and everything happens for you
Yeah.
when it's supposed to, and so always maintaining the it's only a matter of time mindset is what I always have. It's only a matter of time for me, and remembering like my time will come,
Mm-hmm.
so I think that kind of prevents any sort of like hate or jealousy or whatever, even
Yeah.
though I think jealousy is a normal emotion, but yeah, it's how
Yeah.
you decide to act on that emotion.
No, for sure. For sure. Like, you definitely have to celebrate everyone's wins while they are winning because eventually it will be your time.
Right.
Like, you just have to think about it like from a positive light.
Hmm.
I like to support everyone as well, just because, I would love support back on the things that I have going on. Um, but also, I love to, like, when it comes to my field, connecting people. So if I know
Mm,
that you do this and this person does that, and I'm like, wait, you guys could actually utilize each
mm,
other, maybe have a partnership, things of that nature. So I love to connect people with one another, because we can all help each other, whether it's like our work, our side hustles, or our businesses that we have. So that's one way I love to support other Black women. Of course, showing up if you have an event, a networking thing, something of that nature. Maybe you have a book signing. Like, I like to show up for things like that to support,
hmm.
any way I can. Um, but generally, yeah, I just like to support others any way I can, just because, I would love the support back as well.
Yeah.
But also, I believe in, you know, a lot of times I think people do things a lot of times I think people don't want to do something for someone else because they're like, well, they wouldn't do it for me. Um, but I have to remind myself, and it's something I teach myself. Sometimes it's not, you don't have to worry if that person's going to do it or not for you. You just do it out of the kindness of your heart because you'll get it back
You don't give to
regardless.
receive.
Correct.
Hmm.
Right. So it's like, I'm not doing that for you. I'm doing it for me, to
Hmm.
be honest with you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I am a firm believer in like what goes around comes around, and the energy
Yeah.
you put out into the world will come back to you. And so um Yeah, I feel like I've definitely helped people who would not help me.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
that's
wow.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, because for me it's just instinctual and it's done out the kindness of my heart and it's done out of like me being principled and
Yeah.
knowing it's the right thing to do. And you will remain blessed but living that way,
Absolutely. And highly
So
favored.
exactly. So it's all good,
No,
you
for
know.
sure. Definitely. You'll sleep much more peaceful at night if you do.
Yes.
When
Yes.
people are like, how did you? It's like, because I'm a giver.
Yeah.
I'm not a receiver.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is.
Agree. Agree. 100%.
Yeah. Um. hmm. Why is it important to recognize that another woman's success doesn't diminish your own potential?
I think because the notion or the idea that there can only be one is just that, and an idea or an illusion. I think there's room for all of us to win and all of us to eat. And so remembering that and having that mindset.
Yeah. No, that's really it. And I feel like no two people are the same. And so whatever someone else brings, you bring something different, which makes you different. So,
Yes.
you know, there's room for all of us, like you said.
Yes. And remembering that no one else, to your point, no one else is you.
Yeah.
You have your own unique gifts, qualities, and even, and like going back to what we're talking about, two people working or doing the same type of content or in the same industry, it's like you could be doing the same thing, but the way you do it or the way you say something or the way you style something or the way you do your makeup, it could be completely different than the next person, or you may do something your own unique way.
Right.
um, that's going to make you different. So there's definitely no point in comparing yourself, and um, definitely room for everyone.
Yeah.
And I also think honing in on what makes you different is important because that's what's going to make you like stand out in areas that are saturated.
For sure.
um, and like focusing on whatever your own secret sauce is. I
Yeah.
think that can be hard sometimes to figure out though.
It's not easy for everyone to figure it out. It's really not.
Yeah.
And I've realized that with some of my friends. I'm like, man, you don't know what your superpower is yet.
Yes. I think that's hard. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is. But I tell people, I'm like, you just have to. I've tried so many different things.
Mm-hmm.
Even now, I'm just like, I don't know. Like, my career just changes as things go on. I mean, of course, still in the same field, but doing different things because
Mm-hmm.
it's like, you don't know what's going to stick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I went from I literally started my career like, I'm going to be an entertainment reporter to now I'm literally doing like social media, like totally different. You know what I mean?
I could see you being an entertainment reporter.
Hi, I'm Ashlyn. Welcome back to KCal9 News.
I could totally see you doing
Yeah,
that.
my degree's in journalism.
I could totally see you
Yeah,
doing that.
I really wanted to do it, but the truth of that was like, it was going to take me a while to make good money. And
Mm.
it takes a minute to see six figures in that.
Mm.
And then they put you like in a very small country town, and being a city girl, it's like,
Yeah.
mm-mm. And I didn't want to have to climb my way up and think about like being on TV and makeup and all that every day. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, nah, that's not for me. And honestly, kudos to people that do it, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad I did not do it.
Yeah.
I
And a
always
lot of
talk
them,
about that.
they got to be on air at like 5:45,
Yeah, yeah,
4:30, something like that.
yeah. And when I
Jeez.
was coming up in it, that was when all the stuff was going on with just like Trayvon Martin and all that. And so
Mm.
that was a time, because things like that, you've got to be there for those things.
Mm-hmm.
And in the midst of all that, like, your life is kind of in danger with a lot of those situations. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, I was like, I'm good, because I'm not going. Have you seen reporters literally getting rocks thrown at them? They literally get beat up sometimes. Let someone try to lay hands on me on camera, please. I'm running. I'm going home. I'm not fighting. I'm going home.
Or it's just like the
Immediately.
people reporting in like inclement weather.
Exactly. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not going outside.
Like wigs blowing off.
Yeah.
Like.
And I would know. That's why I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm good. I'm too. I'll push back too much.
Yeah.
I like to keep a job. So
Mhm.
But trial and error. You try and see it and you move on to the next.
And there's no regrets in trying,
Yeah.
or there might be regrets, but I think a worse regret is having to say what if.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And staying in something too long. But I love our generation. Like, we're going to keep trying.
Mm-hmm.
Our parents' generation, they kind of like stuck with what they knew and like that's that. But I
Yeah.
love how we just like try new things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm like, wow, like people go from being like doctors to just, I don't know, like in the office. I don't know, just different. It's just crazy how you can just kind of flip flop things.
Yeah. Better to try and fail than to not have tried at all.
Right. Yeah. That's a good quote, Blake.
Listen, that one was up here. It wasn't written down.
Ooh, from the dome.
Queen of quotes.
Queen of quotes.
I'm going to get myself a hat that says that, a t-shirt.
We need to literally make it a segment with a theme song like and I'll be the
quote of the day. And then the entertainment reporter comes in and is like, hello and welcome to Blake's quote of the day.
Literally.
Take it away. And then I'm like, ahem. And then there's like snaps at the end.
Oh my gosh, literally.
Zoom out of that segment.
Oh my gosh. I love that though. That's a cute little catchy name. How has your perspective on supporting other women changed as you've grown?
I think to what we were just talking about is you support out the kindness of your heart, but also with boundaries, right? It gets to a certain point where you don't give to receive, but at the same time, you're not going to be taken advantage of. I think the with boundaries is as I've gotten older.
Yeah. I think it's also just, like I was saying before, doing things out of the kindness of your heart to, give but not receive.
Mm-hmm.
And, not always seeing it for like, well, I'm only doing this if she does this for me, or I'm not doing that for her because she didn't do this for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was younger, I definitely used to think more like that. But the older I've gotten, I've noticed I've gotten further by just doing more for other people without thinking I need something back in return.
Mm-hmm.
When I was more selfish, doors were definitely not open the way they do now.
Mm-hmm.
And I notice when people are more selfish, they just don't have as much success or blessings that are poured into their life because it's like you've got to give to receive.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm glad I've gotten nicer in that department.
Yeah.
I think being an only child, sometimes, we do have a selfishness about us. So for me personally, that's something that I had to work on. And I'm definitely not the selfish person I was when I was younger that I am now. So yeah, that was one of those traits I had to work on.
You know what? Self-awareness is key.
Yeah. Yeah. And I had a lot of friends and family when I was younger that would tell me, you're selfish.
Really?
Yeah.
I never think that about you.
Yeah. I've changed. Like if you ask me for a pair of socks, I'd be like, no, why don't you have socks?
Ashlyn!
Oh, I was bad. True story. I was still bad like that in my younger 20s. Like I'll never forget. I had a friend that came out to see me when I was living in LA. We went to Runyon Canyon. It was super hot. I told her to bring a water. She didn't want to bring the water. I had a few sips left. We were lost on the trail. And she's like, can I have some of your water? I said, no, I told you to bring your own water. She's like, Ashlyn, I'm literally dehydrated. I'm about to pass out. I was like, no, I told you to bring your own water. And I did not give her a sip of water. I stood on that. I'm telling you, no, Blake, I used to be, God's really worked on me. Have you ever lost a friendship with another Black woman because of comparison or competition? If so, what did you learn from it?
I would say two different things I can think of. One, I wouldn't say comparison or competition, but like copying almost. Which they say imitation is like the biggest form of flattery or whatever. But what I feel like people don't talk about is that it can also be a sign of envy, which I was unaware of. So I feel like I've experienced that. I've also experienced that from like a family member, from like a cousin, where going back to the whole birthday conversation, it's like I show up, I'm not wearing something like extravagant, but I look cute, and their friends are all like, "Oh my god, I love your outfit. Oh, I love your purse. Da da da. I love whatever, your dress." And she literally said to me, "Oh, you must think you're the birthday girl."
I hate
And it's
when
like,
birthday girls say
I'm
that.
literally not trying to compete with you. I just took this out of my closet and I put it on and I showed up here. And then we go to dinner later that night, and she has an attitude for God knows what reason. Two of her friends are taking pictures. She didn't want a picture. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll take one. I like my outfit. Got pissed that everyone was taking pictures and she wasn't taking like, it was stuff like that. And it's just like, it actually makes me sad too, because
Yeah.
it's like literally like a first cousin. But
Oh,
yeah,
no, that's tough.
yeah.
Because those are like our sisters too.
No, yeah, like
Like
growing
first
up, it was like
cousins.
that. So it was unfortunate in adulthood to not have that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was just like, it was not a situation, because I don't like to be the center of attention. So I'm never the loudest in the room. I'm never trying to do the most.
Yeah.
I like to look nice, whatever, but like, if it's somebody's birthday, I'm never trying to upstage or anything like that. So
Right.
yeah, I've definitely experienced that.
Yeah. I definitely think I've experienced people that I just hate using the word jealousy with friends because it's just like you're my friend, you know?
Hmm.
But no, I definitely have had this similar situations or things like that with girls. And a lot of times, sadly, I do peep it deep down, but I may not cut it off at first. But friends will be like, that girl does not like you, or that girl's not your friend, or a friend wouldn't do that.
Hmm.
But I think sometimes people get close to you on purpose. And yeah, I know it definitely does turn into envy. It's like they want to be so close to you, but it's like you actually do not like me. Um,
I've definitely experienced that.
yeah. I think to the point they want to just get super close to you to find the little flaw in you to realize, aha, you're not as perfect as you portray yourself to be. You know what I mean?
No, not as you portray yourself to be, as they think you are. Like,
Yeah.
they think you're perfect and it's making them feel inadequate. So now they got to find something wrong with you.
Yeah.
You know,
Very true.
that's what it is. Um, yeah, I've experienced the same thing where it's like, oh, you were not my friend all along.
Yeah.
But also, to your point, your friends being like, that girl don't like you. I think that's where it's important, where you have to have those sisters or
Yeah.
those people like family that are going to be like, no. But
Right.
also, even just like your family, because whatever it is about mothers, they always know where it's like, no, she's not your
Mamas
friend.
know.
Yeah. And like, my mom will say stuff sometimes after the fact, and I'm like, no, I'll either be like, how'd you know? I'll be like, you didn't want to say something sooner? Like,
No. Literally.
my mom will be like, oh, yeah. I always had a weird feeling about her.
Yeah. No, moms know. They know about these girls and these men like
Yeah.
quickly, 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 quickly.
Yeah.
No, it's so true. I had a friend, we all were hanging out. Her mom like met us for brunch, and her mom told her about the girl. Like she's like, I don't know, there's something about her. There's something about her. And sure enough, months later, like the friendship of us went left.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, my mom called it. I'm like, dang. Like, and she told me then, and I was like, no way, like really? But moms do know.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like once they kind of like give you like, hey, this is who that person is, like you can't come back from that one.
Yeah.
Once my mom and my daddy don't like you, I can never be your friend ever again.
Yeah.
It
Well, that's
just
tough.
that's done. Like it's done.
Yeah. It's a wrap after that.
Yeah.
Yikers. Kind of like this episode. I think that's a wrap.
Yes.
JK. Ugh.
Continue to be your sister's keeper.
Yeah. No, seriously. And find your tribe. I feel like that's another thing.
Yes, find your tribe.
And I feel like that may be some feedback we get because I think people struggle to find friendships in adulthood.
Let's talk about that really quick.
I
I
read
just saw a
something
TikTok.
today that said, I wish I saved the post because I got caught up, but it was like, friendships in your 20s are about proximity,
Mm,
and friendships in your 30s are more like basically about you being intentional about who you're choosing to have in your life, regardless of whether they're in the same city. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, and it also said that time is not a friendship is not a friendship. Time is not a reason to keep a friendship going either, like the length of time of the
Yeah.
friendship. Yeah. It's a
No,
hard one.
definitely. I think it definitely does become harder the older you get to find friends, but it takes time, but eventually I think you do find your people.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about putting yourself out there, trying something different, different groups, but I don't know. I'm just not personally a big fan of like DMing someone like, "Hey girl, let's get lunch."
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like, you don't know me, I don't know you. I just don't think that's the way to really find friends personally. I don't really hear too many good things about that, but
You never know. But I think, I don't know. I think too, in your 20s, it's more about like proximity, but also just honestly more about like having fun.
yeah,
And
true.
I think as you get older, discernment really, really has to kick in.
Yeah.
Because that's when you start seeing, I feel like that's when you really start dating seriously, and that's where people can be jealous or envious, or you really start succeeding in your career, and that's where you have to start paying attention to who's around you, because otherwise your biggest hater could end up in your wedding party, and I'll be damned if I got to look
Yeah,
at those pictures
no.
forever. So I just
No,
might
for
not have a
sure.
wedding party. I was thinking about that the other day. I think I'd just rather be up there with my husband. No wedding party.
Stop. No, because it does seem kind of messy, and it's like I know myself.
Always.
Like I will literally gonna lose my shit if people just try to ruin my day like that.
Exactly.
Like
That's
this is
why
my
it's
one
like
moment, please.
the weddings, they say birthdays and weddings bring out people's true colors.
Yeah. Like I'm not gonna lie. Recently, I've come to the conclusion that I do have a lot of friends I consider like a best friend, but I don't want a maid of honor.
I feel the same way.
Yeah. My mom, like, she'll serve as that purpose because it's
I
like, I don't trust
literally, I
anyone.
agree.
Yeah. Like, why would I leave you in the hands of coordinating my shit?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
absolutely not.
exactly.
I know myself. I'm very organized, punctual. Like, no.
I feel the exact same way.
Okay. I thought I was crazy for like thinking that.
Nah. But maybe that's an only child thing. Like, I feel like most people, it would be their sister.
True.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Not that I maybe wouldn't trust some of my, but like,
No,
nah,
no.
nah.
Yeah. It's like I appreciate your willingness to help, but it's okay.
Yeah,
I'll handle this part.
no, I agree 100%. On that note, until next time, and hopefully
Yes.
we'll have a cocktail next time if we film in February.
I'm actually finally getting used to it. So,
All right, see you next week. Bye.